Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all again for tuning in to episode 2. If y'all can see me too, my bad on that one. Episode 2 of the Dope Sessions podcast. My name is Kelvy, and like the first episode, what I basically told everybody is when I do the Dope Sessions podcast, I'm always by myself. And one of my dreams was to always be able to get to talk to other people and just kind of dig into some topics, some issues, that type of thing. I'm glad to have one of my brothers, not just in artistry, but just a genuine this is my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome D-Nick, the Microphone Misfitz.
Yeah. Yo, what's good, man?
Hey, man,
Peace,
what's good with you, bro?
Everybody. Damn.
Now, the one thing that I kind of want to get in, just to kind of give a little bit of background, and you can
let's do it.
Jump in this too as well. How I was introduced to you was a song that you did called Abnormality. And
yes.
I was introduced to that song through a mutual friend of ours by the name of Dre.
Sensei of Soul, Beat Emulator, SOS.
and how I was introduced to that song by Dre was that me and Dre used to host a hip-hop show called Sonic Graffiti. And he always would bring your name up, and I heard that one song and I was just like, okay, it's a cool song, I like it. I didn't realize that you were part of a group, but I think at that particular time that was a solo song. And one of the things that me and you have talked about on occasions, which I thought was kind of I wouldn't say weird, but it was just another way of doing it, because usually most people start off in a group, then go solo. But you started off solo and then went into a group. So okay. I guess I just want people to understand, just in your mindset, I want people to understand your mindset. When did that decision take place?
Well, it was never the goal to be a solo artist for myself. When the Microphone Misfitz started, it started with a group of brothers who are still down with the Microphone Misfitz camp and collective, but they're not in the group per se. But they're still part of the family. They're still part of the team. It started with Young Drew and Pete Proper and myself, and Mel was down too. So it was never my intention to do it as a solo artist. I always wanted to be a part of a group, because the sum of multiple parts are, the whole is better than its parts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, what happened was we weren't able to be a group at the time. Life stuff was in the way. That it just made more sense to just put me out, because I was more active. I was getting a reputation as a battle MC at the time.
And you know what? I was just about to ask you that. So now, from my understanding, is the Microphone Misfitz, it was always like a group or like a collective. It was just because of other stuff that was going on within the group. and you were already, because during our conversation, like, you were already in the battle scene and everything, so it was just like, it was kind of perfect for you to just kind of go out there to like put out stuff album wise, and then once everything came together for everybody else, then you guys were like the full group.
Well, it happened in stages, big up to Prism. He used to do these battles at Cherry Red. Like, I used to go up there all the time and try to win and get my little $50 or $100, whatever the tag was, win some, lose some. I wasn't like no retired champ, but I held my own. So it was cool. But no, it wasn't just that, man. It just went in stages. So it went from that to me doing solo stuff,
Okay.
because of life things. We were in college at the time, and Pete was our first producer and DJ. He never really wanted to get into the music business. He just loved music, and me, I'm kind of a all-in type of dude, and Drew wasn't at the time like ready to fully commit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was actually Drew's idea, was like, yo, you go out there and you do that. That's how my name became D-Nick the Microphone Misfit, was to represent to give brand awareness, to represent the group while I was doing solo stuff. I then like fell in with a collective called FEW Life. That's actually where I met Dre, the Sensei of Soul. And because he was loosely affiliated with FEW, and that was my first time like traveling and touring experience and all of that, like, getting to go to, Hip Hop Congress and becoming a part of Hip Hop Congress, which I'm still a part of Hip Hop Congress. It's almost like a artist union type of thing, and just building relationships with other things. So FEW was really moving. Like, we were everywhere and doing a lot of things, but FEW was not a group too. It was a collective.
Right. So everything kind of started with FEW, and then from FEW grew like the Microphone Misfit.
I became D-Nick the Microphone Misfit from FEW. Okay. Like, that was the first thing that people really knew me from. They knew me as D-Nick the Microphone Misfit from FEW. And then while FEW was happening, everybody in FEW comes from their own groups. It was Stick and Move. Enlight was from, Stick and Move. Mm-hmm. Brave Monk had Awesome Style Connection and was part of Phase 2. DJ Architect had Architect Sounds. DJ Manowax was a part of Iman and the Mighty Universal Zulu Nation. So it was Peasant Waters, my brother Ron, who brought me in FEW. He had his own group called We See Only You, and he had Medulla Broom Productions. So everybody in FEW had their own groups. And so it was like, okay, this is the time to develop Microphone Misfit. Now, at this point, the Microphone Misfits kind of evolved, because now everything got kind of crafted under, what people were already knowing D-Nick the Microphone Misfit for, and it was just like introducing this other cast of characters. At the time, we had DJ Mar, who was our show DJ. Mel was our road DJ, because Marlon didn't like to travel. Right. So Mel would like road manage, and he's an associate producer. Like, if you ask Mel, he'll say, my job is to do whatever needs to be done. whether that's rap, do graffiti, show DJ, whatever. Mel is like, Megaran said Mel is like the human Swiss Army knife. Ray Alight was actually our very first DJs and producers roommate. That's how I met Ray. Okay. We were doing early Microphone Misfit stuff. Ray was there. So Ray always knew the history and always down. He was just the fun party stoner dude.
Right.
Solo, Jet, and Defects, they all come from Awesome Style Connection, ASK, which is Brave Monk's crew. And because we were all connected with the as the FEW, like I have relationships with Stick and Move. I have relationships with Awesome Style Connection and Phase 2 and etc. Like it was nothing for it was nothing for when Awesome Style Connection kind of like went inactive. It was nothing for those guys to come and be a part of the Microphone Misfitz, and it was like the template for the Microphone Misfitz was basically like, okay, well, this thing with FEW was successful and nobody's really like moving forward with it, but like let's keep it going. And it kind of grew from there, and everybody like, we already were cool. We already knew each other. We already, like I said, we were affiliated through the FBW family tree, so it was nothing for that to kind of build and expand and evolve, and thus the Microphone Misfitz, as we know them today, were born. So it was really like 3 stages, to get to where we are, or how we're seen now.
Right.
And big up to those guys, man. Like my brothers, our DJ Mel L, and my partner in rhyme, Ray Alight, and Ken Solo, and Defects, and Jet Nam. Jet gonna get at me like, man, you forgot me. Jet always be clowning me. That's just my dude. Big up to all my Microphone Misfits and our production team. DJ Marlon and Mike Noble. You know what I'm saying, as well as Big Herc. You know what I'm saying, and the whole family has expanded to even like people that are not members of the group, but they're still part of the family in the camp, like Young DRU and Bob Rock and T-Rex the Beast. Like they're all part of our Misfits family,
I want to talk about, just from your experience, because we've had several conversations about this too. The song that you guys have with Rathcast on the new album Escape from Babylon, Volume 4, there's a part of your verse that says the Chicago MC that was never given a chance. I want to, like, just, if you can, briefly just kind of talk about the Chicago like hip hop scene and the Microphone Misfits place in it or non-place, because I was wondering about that specific line. Was that a line saying like, we've been doing this thing for years in Chicago and we still are kind of looked at sideways? I just kind of briefly talk about those things.
Okay, I think to give it clarity is the because that's the B line to that bar. I think to give it more clarity, the following A line will give it probably more context, where it's like, because I say in Chicago I'm the rapper that's never given a chance, so I had to take it till I collect what is owed. I'ma have to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, though, that is like, and the spirit of it, like, I wasn't, and the fellas weren't. First of all of us, majority of us are transplants. I won't say all of us, but majority of us are transplants. Like, Ray is, he from like the south, suburbs. He's south side, but he's from like the south suburbs. And Solo is from, originally from Aurora and moved to like Inglewood. Me and Mel come from Flint, Michigan. Jet, like, is first generation American. He's Chicago bred, but this dude was like a baby bullfighter. Same with, like Defects is, like, so most of us are transplant, even though we've been here for over 10 plus years, and other members longer, like almost like if not their whole lives. So the line isn't a jab. It was more of an inspiration to like we weren't given a chance, so we had to make it. Till I collect what is owed, I'ma have to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was more about like not feeling sorry for yourself, not feeling owed anything, because Chicago don't owe me nothing. Chicago don't owe none of us nothing. People don't owe us nothing. You know, so what we gonna do now that they don't owe us, and we can't have expectations on the people. We have to make it or take it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm glad that you clarified that a little bit, because you know, like when you're listening to music, I think everybody kind of will have their own interpretation of what's meant by a certain thing, and that's I kind of took that in that vein of like, you know, because like I said, we've had plenty of conversations, and it was to the effect, and I'm just paraphrasing, where it's like we've done all these amazing things, and yet we still kind of like not looked at a certain way. So when you said that line, I was like, damn, that's dope that you put it out there. You know, like that's kind of what my interpretation was. And when you said that, I was like, yo, that's dope that you actually put that out there, because you know most people will or won't do something like that, but the fact that you did that was just kind of like how I felt about it.
Well, it was a twofold. It was one, it's holding the people accountable, you know, and at the same time, it's like holding yourself accountable. Like, two things can be right and two things can be wrong. So it's like, you know, if you're complaining, like I hear people complaining all the time about all the music, there's no substance, there's nobody doing nothing positive, there's no any of that. And it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Well, what are the alternatives? Are you digging for the alternatives? If you're not, then, you know, like, you know, what do you know, because we're out here. We're out here. We're going overseas. We're doing shows and packing up these venues, you know, or we were pre-quarantine, but even with that, like now it's like we were doing that. And people, you know, if you're complaining like there ain't nothing out here, no, it's not that the scene or the culture fell off. You fell off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's and at the same time, on the flip side of that, artists, like, yo man, these people are these connoisseurs and consumers of music and consumers of content. They're consumers. They don't owe you. This ain't no communist fucking country. They don't owe you no, like, they don't owe you they support. They support because they want to, and you create a need for the marketplace. You know, so it's two sides. It's holding consumers accountable while holding artists accountable. You know what I'm saying, and not being entitled. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you can, you know, two things can be right, just like two things can be wrong.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I know from just the conversation, like the conversations that me, you, and Dre have had, either separately or all three of us together, is that conversation about, you know, everybody talks about how, you know, there's no good hip hop out there, and there's no this, there's no that, but it's like, but are you digging? Are you looking? And one of the things that I used to tell you guys was just that I think our era was a little bit different than it is now. And the reason why I say that is because I remember being in like the car with my dad, and like he would play Dusties. And like, I remember just like he would always like, you don't know nothing about this. You don't know nothing about this. And I'd be like, what is that? And he was like, he'll tell me. And so I got interested in that song. Like, I remember, you know, talking about, I wrote a paper about black films, and the 70s came up, and I was like, what's blaxploitation? And he told me all these movies. And because he told me those movies and told me, like, you know, when Shaft came out, everybody wanted that leather jacket. You know, when Superfly came out, everybody wanted that long hair. And so I took it upon myself to, like, research these things and go watch those movies, where it seems like where it was kind of harder to do, and kind of in our generation, even though some of the stuff was with us, because like my dad had records and you had video stores and stuff like that, so I can go to those sort of things. It's easier for the kids to do it now because of all the technology that's out there, but they're not digging for it because they don't have anybody to be like, what you know about this or what you know about that. Like,
well, yeah, I was raised by, you know, predominantly grandparents, you know what I'm saying? So I always had a understanding of history, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that stuff and the context of that history. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo man, hip hop ain't young no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, if you're past a certain age doing it, then you have a responsibility to cultivate it as such. Now, art is, you know, transcends racial lines, age lines, you know, culture lines, the whole nine. So you don't have ideally the same ideal boundaries as right. like I'm not like kicking it with no 18-year-old, you know, cat, like we just gonna kick it, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like on some creative stuff, I will kick it with an 18-year-old cat. We creating together, we collaborating, hell yeah. Cause it like my students, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll be getting into battles and DJ routines and breaking battles and all, like, because like art is the equalizer. That's why so many people love it. That's why it's needed. It's not considered an essential business, but it's so needed because it is the biggest equalizer in the world. Nothing, because it's soul to soul communication. So right. Like, yeah, man, when it comes to like cultivating the culture, you know, like the responsibility falls on the artist and it falls on the consumer in equal parts. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's, you know, and it's our responsibility to teach, you know, people that might not know. Like, it's not, you know, this is the instant, you know, generation. So everything, even the older cats, like, are used to stuff being instant. Nobody's hunting and gathering their food right now. They're going to the grocery store. Right. So it's up to us to now cultivate and teach. This is the importance of cooking. This is the importance of how you shop if you go into the grocery store. Right. And if you want to do it on another way, this is how you farm. You know what I'm saying? Like otherwise you just waiting to be fed. You being on some fast food shit. In the Microphone Misfitz, we have our stage show is set up to where, you know, everybody in the group represents, you know, something for the audience outside of just dance, DJ, MC, you know, and all that stuff. Right. Like the dancers, well, I'll start with Mel. Mel is the muscle. He's the silent type. He's the silent, you know, overseer that, you know, the guy that plays the back. And this is how he represents the guys who play the back. This is how you enjoy a high energy, high octane show. Like, you can still enjoy it. Me, I'm the floor captain. I'm the guide. I'm the, you know, one that's taking everybody in the audience on this journey through this music. Ray Alight is the audience POV character. People love Ray. He's like the star of the group. People love him and want to be him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to be D-Nick, they want to be Ray, because Ray's the fun one. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's an audience POV character. And Jet, Defects, and Solo are the examples. They're the examples for how you're supposed to, like, take in this music. If you don't know how you know, and some people be like, oh man, that's heavy-handed, so you think the audience is stupid. No, I think people just need a little push and need to, you know, they need that. They need those representation. They need the strong silent type of muscle. They need the person that's their guide to get them there. They need the audience POV character, and they need the examples. This is how movies and plays are written. There's always an audience POV character. Batman has a Robin. There's always examples that, you know, that give you exposition. There's always a reason that there's exposition. It's structured like a play, and I'm a playwright. I'm a comic book writer. I'm a playwright. I write songs. So writing and you know, me and Mel directing our stage show the way we do is because of is to do it like that. We do it like our theater performance background, and that's how we be shitting on people on stage.
Are we living in these Corona times, and I know that when I talked to you on the phone one day, it was just like, you was like, damn man, this shit is messing up my money, bro. Like, you know, and like when you were telling me that, like, I was just like, damn, dog. Like, I felt for you, because, like, not saying that like the big stars don't have to like tour and all this stuff for money, but for independent artists who have to do it more, like how are you guys dealing with all of this stuff that's going on, and how are you able to like still like market and like, you know, promote the album and everything and videos during this coronavirus pandemic that we're going through?
Well, we're surviving, and we're you know, we're making our strides. You know, you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim. It definitely is challenging, and it definitely is a hit. And, you know, I feel for all my kindred, you know, road warrior brethren. You know, like, man, when you an indie touring artist, man, that shit is like a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sorority. Like, you know so many people, you know, because you're living a gypsy lifestyle, especially if you tour with them, you know. There's like unsung rules, you know, that we all follow, you know, with people that are on that grind, and that's how we bond and just get stronger relationships. So blessings to everybody that's a indie touring artist that are hit by all of this. For us, like, you know, we had a meeting, you know, actually yesterday, where, you know, we were just checking in on each other, and everybody is dealing with it in their own way in the group. But it's important to know that we're still a group. So the first thing for us is, you know, individually, you know, we gotta survive, and we gotta take care of each other, and we gotta take care of ourselves. And then the next thing is, you know, obviously take care of our families. And then the next thing is, you know, take care of the brand and the IP and the group. Luckily for us, it's like we have so much content, you know, that we can really focus on getting better at the promotion and things of that nature. Digitally, we can get better at doing that. So for us, it's been really about finding new innovative ways, because you figure we're a performance group that, you know, now have to sit down. So now we have to talk about what will, if we have to go here, what will a Microphone Misfitz, you know, like digital live stream performance look like if that is to happen, because we got so many moving parts. So we have to talk about that. We have to talk about what's fair, what's respectful, what's responsible to charge promoters and stuff like that to do a live stream concert, you know what I'm saying? So we have to talk about that. And on a more positive end, it gives us an opportunity to tap in and create. Like, you know, Rahm Emanuel said a couple years ago, and, you know, you never let a crisis go to waste. I'm no Rahm Emanuel fan, but like sometimes the arrogance of the oppressor will give you a jewel. And that was a jewel. So like, you know, so for me, it's like, okay, now I'm gonna get better at video editing. Like I'm gonna get better at it. I'm gonna get better at, like, I know about algorithms and how that stuff like moves, but now I'm gonna get better at it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do that for the group. The other members of the group are, you know, they're doing like their own thing to make them and the group better. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's you know, sharpening their skills, you know, or even something as simple as just taking advantage of family. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, like being around family more. So everybody's good, man. We're not content. We're definitely not happy with everything. I mean, we were supposed to be getting ready to come back from tour now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were supposed to be like on the road like most of the month of April. So it was, you know, so it's kind of that, but, you know, not gonna like allow us to be defeated.
You guys are the only like hip hop group, or just people in hip hop in general, that like have come out with like comic books. Every single album that you guys have dropped, there's a comic book. Now it doesn't coincide with the album, but it does continue from like the part one. You know, when part two comes out, then that follows up from like the first one, and so on and so on. What was the inspiration behind putting out comic books? I mean, you know, and I get in one theory, because, you know, we're not all of us, but like me and you have, you know, we're geeks, and so like that's just a dope idea for us geeks to do. But I just wanted to like, but what was like, because I know like one of your solo albums is graphic novel, and so from calling it graphic novel to like Microphone Misfitz, Escape from Babylon albums are coming out, and every one of those albums has a comic book. So what was the driving force with that?
Well, like you said, I'm a big geek, big comic book head. All my solo albums had animated covers, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a couple of things that kind of felt like divine intervention. So obviously graphic novel is my last solo album. It was my last solo album. during the promotion of graphic novel, like, we learned so much. FEW was kind of disbanding, and from that, Microphone Misfitz was kind of rising. Everybody in the Microphone Misfitz were helping to promote the graphic novel album, so we're touring and doing all this stuff. So we were touring with Comic-Con, like Wizard World Comic-Con. So we were doing, like, we were touring with them. And so, like, and we're talking about, this is back in 2010. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we were before the big geek explosion. So we're touring with Wizard World Comic-Con, promoting an album called Graphic Novel, and we're the only music guys there. And it was like, it just kind of felt like, all right, we were working on the music, but it's like, okay, we're going from a D-Nick the Microphone Misfitz solo album to a Microphone Misfitz group album. I don't want stuff to be compared, or we have to do something to make the group, like, obviously we're a group, but we have to do something to make the group thing special and different from, like, like my solo albums. Like, what makes the group one unique, you know what I'm saying, outside of the different voices, because everybody was involved on my solo album. So it wasn't like the structure or how we made albums change. It's just that everybody was able to commit to the road more. And so there was that. So that was where that kind of came in. The next thing, it was funny. I was on a bus, and there was a Caucasoid girl, this white girl, with a Microphone Misfit T-shirt on.
Right.
And she had no idea who I was. She had no idea who the group was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she was wearing a Microphone Misfits T-shirt.
Right.
And, I didn't tell her. I was like, man, I like that shirt. Where you get that from? Because I didn't have a shirt on it. But I was like, I like that shirt. Where you get that from? She was like, oh man, I was at a festival, and this hip hop group was performing, and they were killing it. You know what I'm saying? And, like, one of them threw this shirt out to the crowd, and my boyfriend got it. And then I was like, man, I want a shirt. So he went to their merch table and bought a shirt. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was like, what's the name of the group, or what's the name of the artist? Now, mind you, my name is on the back of the shirt. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I don't know. I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember they were good. And I was like, oh, okay, word. And I let it go. I didn't tell her that's my logo or anything like that. And I just remember, like, something got to be done about that. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, if people buy a book, they're going to read a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, mm-hmm. they're going to know who these characters are, because the characters are us. They're gonna know who D-Nick is. They're gonna know who Rayalite is, Mel, etc. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, oh, okay. We're, the Comic-Cons were really successful. It was different. It was really different, and it kind of put us, like, in our own lane, and kind of put us not above, but yeah, it put us in our own lane. It kind of raised our stock. That's all I'll say. It didn't put us, we're not above anybody, but it raised our stock. It put us in our own lane, and it set us apart, and it was lucrative. So it was like, okay, let's validate us being here. And I'm a writer, so it was like, you know what, I can put all of this together. Let me write the story, and let me do what would be the action movie that I would want us to be in. I might never be in an action movie. Me and my guys might never be in an action movie. We might never get a budget. But what we do have is our imagination. I really love writing comics. I really love being a comic book creator. You know what I'm saying? And the guys really love, like being immortalized in the comic. Those books will last forever. You know what I'm saying? Walt Disney dead than a motherfucker, but Mickey Mouse still here.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So that was how that came out.
This is a question that I asked Drunken Monkey. So I want to kind of get your what you think about it as far as with this question. When it comes to like being independent, are there moments with you guys where you're happy with still being independent, being road warriors? Or is there one of those moments when you're just like, man, like maybe we should like try to, seek a deal or seek new management. Maybe with this we can play these shows or play shows that we've never played, got the chance, or go to be on festivals that we've never got the chance to be on. Do you guys have those particular moments, or are you guys just like, nah, we good, we built something what we got, and we just gonna keep doing it, but we just gonna keep elevating ourselves?
I don't think about it like how I don't think about it. The tail end of your question is how we think about it. We're gonna keep doing our thing and keep bettering ourselves, and I don't think about it in terms of like I'm done with the indie grind. So like I don't romanticize shit, so
right.
I don't look at it as I don't look at it from such. I look at it as an earned thing. Like I have to earn certain things.
Right.
Earn, whether that's earn relationships or whether that's earn, those type of deals to be presented to us. So I never look at it as like, man, I hate, I'm tired of this indie grind or anything, like, because it's all numbers, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So the goal is, I put it like this: if you can get 50 people in a venue and you can sell out of 50 people in a venue, the next goal might be to get to 100.
Right.
Once you get to 100, the next goal might be to get to 125, 150. And then, like all the way to 200. And then once you can do the 200 seat venues, then the next thing to do is to do the 500 capacity venues. Then it just climbs and climbs and climbs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's about like we recently licensed the record to Orange Theory Fitness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That was good for us. That was our first like license like thing for, that was something we learned to do. So now, as I won't say our first, it was like our first bigger one in recent time.
Right.
But so like doing that, like that will elevate to further like licensing deals. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Hopefully, ideally, like, okay, this is what we did right. This is what we could have did better, in advance. So I don't look, because even if you go to like a upscale mainstream level, that's still the same. That grind never leaves. That grind never leaves. You're gonna have peaks. You're gonna have valleys. So I just look at it like, gotta keep building. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta keep, increasing our numbers, keep our momentum going. Like, like we, you know, like we said, like the our tours stopped, our shows and festivals we had scheduled had to stop. Are we gonna let that? It's a gut punch, definitely. But are we gonna let that completely collapse our momentum? No, that's not what Microphone Misfits do. So for us, like, I'm not focused on what I don't have. I'm focused on what I got and how to get what I need. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it more of like, you know, and obviously you want to be able to, you know, get PR and, you know, publicists and, you know, but all of that stuff has to be earned. Like, you need something to promote. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Madam President. Like, you know, she's been promoting for us. So like having Madam President, but she needs something to promote. If we ain't got nothing to promote, what the fuck good is she? You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck good are us to her? You know what I'm saying? We have to give something to promote. You know, we have to, like, the whole thing about getting a manager, you know, what do you have that needs to be managed? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if you don't got shit that needs to be managed, you don't need a manager yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you ain't no draw, you don't deserve a booking agent. You need a demand and a draw for a booking agent to want to sign you or to collaborate with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, all of that you have to do all of that anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, when it becomes unbearable, then okay, man, it's too much for me to be booking these shows. You know what? Now I've earned my demand, you know, as a member of this group, and the group has earned a demand and earned a draw to where a booking agent will want us. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Until we do that, we got to do it ourselves. We got to collaborate with the people, you know what I'm saying? Until we have, you know, shit to promote, you know, then we have to promote it ourselves.
First of all, I want to thank you again for coming on here and chopping it up with me, bro. I really, really appreciate that, man. So, tell everybody where they can check out Microphone Misfitz music.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Oh yeah. Also want to say congratulations to you on the Black Cinema release. I know it's hard and to do a first release, especially in these trying times.
Yeah.
You know, congratulations through with that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You can check out the Microphone Misfits. You can check us out, microphonemisfitz.com. Will lead you everywhere. That's TheMicrophonemisfitz.com. We're on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Pandora, Apple Music, you know, Napster, you know, Tidal, every music universe, CD Baby, every music platform. If you stream YouTube, if you stream music, you just look up the Microphone Misfits and you'll find it. If you want to go to our social media, it's the Microphone Misfits. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much everywhere. Like, and if you're like confused, just go to the website, and it has links to our social media stuff. We have please subscribe to Microphone Misfitz TV at YouTube. Let's get our subscriptions up. You know, we got a new video out, family history, principal animation done by Glyph, and additional artwork by Daryl Spicy. You know, feature DJ Rex to figure your shit out. And it's I love that song, that record. And yeah, just everything is Microphone Misfitz. You can buy hoodies like this at on the website. Big up to Big Hurt. You can get it from his Big Hurt Collections, or you can just go to Microphone Misfitz website and get it. And so it's just, like I said, it's TAEMICROPHONEMISFITZ, the Microphone Misfitz. Who else could it be?
Yo, man, and go check out their music. Really dope music. Check out they get you some hoodies. Like, read them comic books. Check out they
man.
Check out all their social medias. Check out the Microphone Misfitz Chronicles series that they're gonna be dropping on YouTube. Hey man, thank you again, D-Nick.
Yeah, every Thursday, man, we're trying to get, and not every Thursday, every other Thursday. So like next Thursday we got the next episode coming out. So yeah.
So every other Thursday, make sure y'all go on YouTube, type in the Microphone Misfits, and check out the Microphone Misfits Chronicles. Thank you again, D-Nick, for chopping it up with me. Thank y'all again for watching. See y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.